Today, nearly half of the world's population is still offline. And even where internet is available, it does not create the same opportunities for all. For example, women represent 45% of the global internet population, but they constitute only a quarter of the global cybersecurity workforce. Despite being better educated, they still earn 12% less than men in the same profession. Closing the diversity gap is crucial to create more equal and prosperous societies.
Thank you for joining us today for this keynote in Closing the Gender Gap. Now, we've been discussing in the past few days at Closing the Gap on how we can create peace and stability in cyberspace. And one of the ways to do this is just by having the right people in the right places. Having the skills and having the right professionals to secure our systems is essential for this international cybersecurity. Now, it is estimated that by 2022, there will be a 1.8 million shortage in InfoSec professionals. Coupled with that, there is only 20% of women in the cybersecurity workforce. This is a number that has gone up since a few years. The first number we had on women in the cybersecurity workforce was 11%. So it's quite obvious that to tackle a problem of skills shortage, we also need to tackle the problem of the gender gap. For this topic, we've had the opportunity to have an amazing speaker with us, Moudhi AlJamea, Dr. Moudhi AlJamea, I should say, as she has a PhD in computer security. Moudhi is the first Saudi woman to occupy an executive position in a company. She is the general manager of the ICT school at the Saudi telecom company, the STC Academy. And she will be talking to us a little bit about her experiences in creating and managing the STC Academy and how she sees the role of women in strategic cybersecurity. Moudhi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you actually for giving me the opportunity to address a very important topics such as the gender gap and cybersecurity. I need to start that the Academy was established by a great team, and I'm just one person of that great team. And probably I will address the role of the Academy later on. But as you mentioned, it's very important to start by remembering ourselves that cybersecurity skills or shortage in skills is still a problem. We're still facing a great problem and a shortage of a number of skills. For the third year in a row, the results is not getting any better regarding the global number of cybersecurity professionals. And that's really a problem because the number of cyber attacks and sophisticated cyber attacks is just getting bigger and bigger. And we need more cybersecurity professionals in this matter. So I think we have a global problem when it comes to cybersecurity professionals. But when we look closely at the number of females in cybersecurity, it's still a worrying thing to look at. Females' cybersecurity percentage is not satisfying at all. We don't have enough females representing us in cybersecurity. And we really need to look closely at the reasons behind these percentage. Why don't we have enough females in cybersecurity? I believe some of these reasons are something that we need to work on as females, and some of these reasons we need to depend on policymakers, we need to depend on government, we need to depend on global community to support us. So let me address these points one by one. If we look at the World Economic Forum, they said that women are less present in jobs of the future. There are a major underrepresentation of women in classic STEM, which is science, engineering, technology, and mathematics fields, with less than, as you mentioned, 20% in these roles in cloud engineering, AI, and cybersecurity. So we need to understand why the cybersecurity or STEM field is not attractive for females. And to be honest, if I can speak from an experience of Saudi and in Saudi Arabia, when we look at the number of females who's graduating from technology fields, we don't really have a problem. We don't have a problem in encouraging females into getting into a STEM field. We have a 50+% of females graduating from technology fields. Actually, when I used to work in one of the universities, we were considering freezing the male section, because in Saudi we have the male and the female section. We were considering freezing the male section and focus on female, because we have more female and more female passionate about technology. So really, it's not a problem. We have universities, Princess Noura University, who's focusing only on developing females. King Saud University, who is, they have a great achievement in graduating top females in technology. So the problem that we have is really that after they graduate, they don't work in technology. And this is a really problem. Why we don't have enough females? I think the percentage was around, it's a national study. I think the percentage was around 17 or 18% of these 52 who works in technology field. They always move to somewhere else. This is a problem that we need to consider and to address. And really, I think a big dependency of this reason falls on us as females. We need to create role models for them, to encourage them to get into the technology field. We need to mentor them. We need to give them the confidence that they can and they should pursue their career in the field that they actually study. Let me go to the what we can do as a female. We need to reach out to these young generation, support them in initiatives, support them in volunteering work, and mentor them. I think mentorship is very important. Myself, I try my best to be available for females on social media, on event, on talks, to give them some advices how can they support their career. Now, if we want to look at the government section, how the government and the policymakers, let me put it this way, support females. I think it's very important that the government take the lead in supporting females and give an example for the private sector how they are empowering females. And I can give a great example. And actually, this will lead me to the next point, where if females and young generation, they don't see leaders, female leaders in technology, this is a problem. They don't see the career that's in front of them. So I think we lack a number of leaders, female leaders in STEM, in leadership positions. We need to support each other in getting into leadership positions and empower females. You studied cybersecurity, you studied artificial intelligence, computer science. Here, how you can achieve, here can you be a leader in that field. So I think the presentation of leaders, female leaders in this field is not enough. And I can give an example of how our country and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia addresses this problem through, we have an amazing female called Hind Zahid, who she's the deputy of the HR Ministry for Women Empowerment. And the classic reason when we get from when we ask, why don't you have a leader, female leader in ICT, they would say, well, show me the qualified females. It's not easy to find them. This is the reason, yeah, and we need to address this reason. So what the deputy of Women Empowerment did, she created a platform called Qiyadat. Qiyadat in Arabic means leaders, female leaders. And she asked all the female leaders in the kingdom to put their CVs over there. And here's the source for female leaders. If you want a female leader, there is no reason that you don't hire a female leader, because we have this platform that's full with CVs that is verified by the Ministry of Human Resource. So I think this kind of initiatives by government, it's very important, because it will encourage the private sectors to follow. and to empower females in that matter. We have a lot in Saudi, a lot of great leaders, female leaders in cybersecurity, in computer science, who is taking a leadership positions right now. But I think we need more, and I think we need more globally. So in that matter, we are hosting actually the B20, the G20 in Saudi Arabia this year. And I'm a member in the digitization task force, which is a part of the business 20. And we address the technology problems. And one major problem that we wanted to address, and we actually insist to have it in the policy paper, is to empower more females in leadership position in STEM. And we really hope that this kind of recommendation will go up to the G20 and will be adopted by the G20. It's very important. And this group of leaders in the technology, they are looking at these policymakers. It's not just females, it's males and females. And I think this is a very important. Also, I'm a member in the Women in Business Action Council, which is created also by the B20 to look at all the levels of the businesses in the task force in the B20. And that's to make sure that there is a women empowerment recommendation that will support females development, will support females in leadership, and that's all important aspects that we need to work together in. So having the government working on these initiatives is very important. We had a cybersecurity forum. We have the National Cybersecurity Authority in the kingdom, and it reports directly to the king. And they announced this year, actually in February, an initiative to empower females globally in cybersecurity. And this is very important. If you have the Cybersecurity Authority in the kingdom and an initiative sponsored by His Highness Crown Prince that is specifically empowering females, that's very important, and that will send a message that we are doing and we care about empowering females. So what other sectors is doing? So that's also we need the support of the private sector. Now, it's true. I am the first executive in STC. STC is the Saudi telecom company. It's the largest telecom company in the region. They only started hiring females in 2016. Before that, the presentation of females was zero. But what I really think is that I joined them last year, and before that there was a lot of great females at the company, and a lot of females executives joined the company after me. But what I am seeing really in this in STC is that the achievement that the company is doing and the empowerment that the company is doing is I think growing faster than any company who started hiring female, let's say 20 years ago. It's about the mindset, really. It's about how the company is buying these empowerment, how company is supporting these empowerment. We created a cybersecurity sector last year, and the representation of females is around 24%, which is, I think it's a great start to start with. And starting with all the executive at this sector, they support females. And I think females are doing a great job over there. So I think being in an environment that supports females is very important. Being in an environment that is addressing and trying to address all the challenges is very important. Also, we launched the Women Council, which is chaired by the group CEO. Such initiative, it's very important. And knowing, because one of the biggest challenges for females is understanding, am I in the right environment? Is my environment supporting me? Is the colleague behind me supporting me? Is our other half, the men, are they supporting us? The community, is it supporting us? So understanding and living in an environment, these all messages. And this will get me into my last point, which is where I'm working, STC Academy. What we do at STC Academy really is we try to design a program for executives and non-executives. But for executives, we really work on the mindset. It's very important to have this agile mindset that understand technology, that understand what the technology is bringing for us in the future. So addressing these technologies and trying to had some, let me put it this way, some rules and conditions that we need a certain level of representation of female in the academy, and we need to show them how females is empowerment is very important, and working together as colleagues is very important. So I really believe that the support should come from up down. If we work on developing our young generation, if we work on encouraging them to get into these field without getting the support from our leadership, it's a big problem, because they're going to face just a wall, and they're just going to be really disappointed, and that will result in them leaving STEM and moving to somewhere else. So I hope I addressed most of the points about how do I think we can address women in cybersecurity gap between genders. And I really want to end with the point is that I think confidence is very important. Females should believe in themselves. I think we have the right skills, we have the right mindset. It's all about being confident that with the support that we are getting, we should be able to achieve really high positions. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you very much, Moudhi. That was very inspiring to hear all the work you've done and all the initiatives that are ongoing in another part of the world. I particularly liked what you mentioned also of the database, because it's true, we hear this so often, like, oh, I would like to hire women, but where are they? Yeah. And it's just a matter of...
They can't use it now. Exactly, they can't use it.
The EU just launched a similar initiative with Women for Cyber, where they asked women to register. I haven't registered yet. It almost feels like, well, I'm on the list then, but it's important to put yourself out there and to dare to be a woman in cybersecurity, and not just see yourself as, well, I'm just a person in cybersecurity. Because I really liked your points on you know, being that mentor and providing that role model. I think one of the things that a lot of women in cybersecurity struggle with is indeed like not having the support from upper and not having a role model to mirror yourself towards. And I think it's good to have initiatives on launching women in leadership positions. But what we still quite often see is there's a mentality of, if we just put a woman there, everything will be fine and the mindset will just change. And this is actually a quite toxic mentality, because often these women are put in a situation where they're not treated well, where they alone need to carry the burden of being the woman and representing a whole gender and changing an entire mindset while also doing their work. And this is something that I saw a statistic the other day, that only 21% of cybersecurity professionals have not considered quitting their job yet. It's the pressure of securing an entire department or organization without having the proper resources is a heavy burden on cybersecurity professionals. And I think combining that with also being a woman and having that responsibility of changing the entire mindset of an organization is an emotional burden that isn't always recognized for women. And I think a question I have for you, and then we can continue on to some questions that we had from the audience, is what do you do as a woman if you're then finally put in that leadership position, but you're in an environment that doesn't actually support you? Do you carry the burden? Do you leave? Do you keep it to yourself? Do you try to work your way around it? I think it's important to hear from other women. Should you carry the burden, or should you move on to something that is healthier for yourself?
I think it's very important. As you mentioned, we are all responsible. It's something that we need to fix as a female community in cybersecurity. If I leave, then everyone will leave. I think we need to take responsibility. Failure is not something wrong. Everyone have a failure points at their lives. And we need to address these failures. It's fine. So what, I failed? It's fine. So what, it's difficult? No one, male or female, reached to a higher position without these challenges. Probably you're right, females might face it more than male, but we need to believe that we need to fight more, and we need to, we should not let go. We should not give up. And this is our responsibility for young generation to see us as a role model. If we are all decided to leave and this is just difficult, I can't handle it, it's the easy way. And this is not something that anyone who wants to succeed or who wants to take a leadership position to get into that level. So I think definitely you need to take your part in, and you need to work harder, and you need to address these challenges and try to solve them. Big chance you might fail, it's fine, but we learn from our failure and we move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I at the same time, I completely agree. But I think it's also good for women to recognize if they're struggling. They are
Definitely.
struggling more than their male
Seeking for
counterparts.
help is very important. Seeking for help is very important. Speaking to a friend, speaking to a colleague, reaching a community is very important. I think it's very important to understand when do we need help. And that's really the reason why at STC we created the Women Council, so we can be the channel to hear the challenges for the women support. So as simple as something that if a male is in charge of putting the policies or anything, they will not be able to understand the female challenges, and that's not in purpose, but if we address them, it will be easier to solve. So I think finding the right channel to speak through and addressing these problems is very important.
I think so. I'll move on to some of the questions of the audience, and I'll add to this a bit, because I thought it was very inspiring also to see that you have a PhD in computer security. But I think a lot of women in the workforce, they're coming from different fields and they're landing into security. And they're having a hard time gaining that, those credentials and the legitimacy to be part of that field. And a question that came from Sadia was, considering the global and specific context regarding women in STEM, what enabled you to go beyond what is failed by design for so many females in security? What are qualities you had and acquired to be where you are today?
Thank you. So I'm always out there. If you go to social media, you will find me. If you go to conferences, you will find me. If you go to events, you will find me. I'm out there. So I believe if you are achieving, you should share your achievement. I always share my achievement with others. I always share my success with others. So having a qualification and a PhD in cybersecurity is an add. I will consider it an add, but it's not something important to reach where I am. There are great women reached somewhere higher where they are, and they don't have a PhD in cybersecurity or a PhD at all. So I think practicing and experience and executive, I learned that from my coach, executive intelligence. This is very important. How you communicate with others, how you sell yourself, how you connect, how you address the latest challenges. I'm always there discussing what's happening in the world. I don't disconnect myself from what's happening. I'm always linked to what's happening. I always share my thoughts, share my ideas. So really, certification is just one part or one factor that will add to your success. It's really about yourself, your confidence, and how you approach others and how you connect with others.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just something that it feels nice to have on your back as a certification, just to kind of prove I have the right to be here.
Yes.
But it still makes it difficult to always have to justify why you are there, justify why you are just as skilled as someone else, and think about when a comment comes, if you should take this seriously, if this is aimed at you, if you just should let it go. I think another question that came from Noof is, you mentioned the governmental support that helped the rise of female participation and engagement in STEM. What do you think we need more, nationally or internationally?
Yeah, so speaking about nationally, in Saudi Arabia, we're going through a huge transformation. We're going through a lot of changes that mainly empowering females. Females 2 years ago or 3 years ago is different from females now. So I believe nationally we are being empowered by the government and a very push or pressure on the private sectors also. But I think there is a lot of acceptance from the private sectors to empower females. I think really now what we need as females is to be confident. I'm going to talk now about Saudi. We are in a golden, I always say that we are in the golden age for females, golden era. And if we don't shine right now, probably it's our mistake, because we have this great platform, we have this great people who are supporting us, the government is supporting us. So it's all required some confidence, some achievement, some showing a real that you fit, that females fit to these positions. And of course, we need the support of the community. Now, internationally, I think these kind of talks, these kind of exchange, these kind of initiatives internationally, and collaborating with other entities and understanding the challenges and sharing our challenges together will enhance, definitely will enhance the presence of females and will enhance the female leadership. I think we still have a problem, but addressing the problem is halfway there. And I think hopefully we will be able, with collaboration, international cooperation, to reach it.
Yeah, and I think also on an international level, you have this strategy development that just gender mainstreaming into every aspect of how we're tackling global challenges. Like one of the things that we've been seeing is that the online world and what we call gender-based violence, hate speech against women, has actually exacerbated the role of women offline as well. And I think like any of the things that we try to do in giving that access to the internet needs to come with those glasses of how will this affect women. I don't know if you have any perspectives on these.
Definitely. Actually, I had a discussion this with a friend the other day about the bullying or the violence online. You go online with your name, with your picture and everything, and you get a bad comment from an anonymous account that have a picture of a tree, for example, and a fake name. So why would you take this seriously? Why would you consider these comments? I think what we really need to think about is that it's a challenging word offline, and it's more challenging online. So we need to address these problems. We need to address these challenges. If we go and we think it's a salala world, or it's a happy land that no one is going to give you a negative feedback, then we're mistaken. You might be crushed from the first, I would say, stage. But we need to keep in mind that we are going to face challenges. We are going to face people who will resist us big time. But how strong are we in facing these people, and how strong are we and confident in order to respond to these kind of attacks?
Yeah, I think it's a heavy toll to carry, but in a way, it's nice to know like you can make a difference. It just sometimes it would be nice if it would be recognized. Yes, you do suffer more. It's not in your head that this is more difficult for you. So. Any final comments? Because then we're going to wrap up.
Really, thank you for giving me the opportunity to address this problem. Maybe I don't talk a lot about women empowerment. This is not something that I usually talk directly about, but I try to be a role model. I try to address this by action. I try to address this by positions and trying to empower young generation through initiatives, through designing these things. So I think what I really want is that we all work together in order to empower each other, in order to get to the right percentage. I'm happy to get 50 or maybe 70 or 80%. I don't know, but I think this is an opportunity. We have a really gap in cybersecurity professionals. So let's just go there and hack it.
Excellent. Let's close the gender gap together. Thank you very much, Moudhi, for your contributions and for giving us also a different perspective from a different part of the world. And we hope we will be in touch again and see you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you.